Hi, and welcome to Basic Health Interactive. I'm your host, Scott Shilstone, and joining us today is Dr. Michael A. Smith, author of the new book, The Supplement Pyramid. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Hi, Scott. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning to you. I'm well, thank you. So let's get into talking about the supplement pyramid. There's a lot of debate out there today regarding the supplement industry. You have people on one end that talk about the benefits to their overall body health, heart health, helping in preventing cardiovascular disease, and many more. Then you have skeptics, people that are not convinced that supplements are crucial to their individual needs. And how would you go about helping an individual overcome that debate and finding a supplement that works best for their individual needs?
Well, first off, Scott, let me just address one of the issues there, that supplements may not work based on some really poorly designed studies that have happened in the past year. Supplements do work. There's a lot of good research behind it. I've been using supplements in natural medicine for many years now with great success based on evidence in the research. So they do work. The question then becomes, well, how do I know what I need? And that's why I wrote the Supplement Pyramid book. I think what we need to do is we needed to take a kind of like a medical inventory or a medical history. You know, when you go to your doctor's office, let's say you go in because you have a pain or an ache or a fever, cough, whatever it is, or maybe you're concerned about the fact that cancer runs in your family. So what's the first thing that your doctor does? Well, he or she should hopefully take you through a series of questions, right? That's called a clinical history or an inventory. I did the exact same thing when it comes to supplements. I designed a set of quizzes that will run you through basic risk factors, symptoms that you might be dealing with. And when you answer the questions, you're able to develop a nice little story about yourself. What's going on in your past, your present, your family's past, your family's present. And from that picture, we can really target supplements that have the best chance of helping you.
Wonderful. So the hesitation in some people, are you thinking that's what caused you to write this book? What inspired you to write the Supplement Pyramid now?
What my sisters did. They're so confused about taking supplements, so I wanted to help them. It's a personal issue. Well, let me back a little bit. I've been working with the Life Extension Foundation as a senior health scientist for many years. And Scott, the number one question, without a doubt, that I get is, what do I need? What do I really need to take? Or the flip side of that is, people are taking so much stuff because there's so many options. They ask me, why am I taking this? They forget why they're doing certain supplements. So there's just a lot of confusion out there. There's plenty of books, based on nutrients. Plenty of books out there about fish oils or vitamins and minerals, and that's good stuff. That's good information to have. But even when you're done reading those types of books, some people at least are still left wondering, well, do I really need that? Do I need that nutrient? How does it apply to me? So I wanted to give my readers some serious guidance, because I think that's what's lacking right now, and to be able to guide them through all of those options, so that when you go into your health food store and you go down that supplement aisle and you see all these choices, you have a better idea of what you're looking for because you've taken that medical inventory. Going into that store ahead of time what those nutrients are that might have a chance of really helping you. And so you have power there. You have peace of mind. You have that guidance you're looking for. I wrote it for my sisters. They're just as confused as anybody else out there. I have one sister, let me give you an example. She does everything. I mean, she has a cupboard full of supplements, and I don't even know what she's doing half the time. But then I have another sister who really understands the need for supplements in her life so that she can be healthy and take care of her kids. But she's paralyzed. She does nothing because there's so many options. I want to help people avoid both those extremes. I want to bring people to the middle. I want to give them some guidance so they know, hey, this is the supplement that's going to work for me. Maybe this one I don't need. So it limits what you're taking, it targets what you're taking, and maybe it saves you some money in the long run.
Well, did anything surprise you? I'm curious, in what I'm sure was exhaustive research, did anything stand out in particular that you might have been surprised by? From?
Oh, Scott, I'll tell you what, I've heard for a long time that our soils are really nutrient poor, and they're producing nutrient poor food. Through the research in this book, I didn't realize how bad it actually is. So I have this chapter. It's the first chapter, by the way. It's about why we need to take supplements, and I lay out 4 or 5 scientific facts that really support the need for supplements to a healthy body. And the first one I talk about is the condition of our soils. And in this research, I discovered that our soils were declared nutrient poor in 1930. That was the first soil surveys that were done, and now that was before the Great Dust Bowl era of the mid-30s into the early mid-30s into the early 40s. So that was before that time. Even before the episode, the Dust Bowls, our soils by our government were declared nutrient poor. Guess what, Scott? Pretty much nothing has been done to reinvigorate those soils. There's been a little bit, a little local reinvigoration processes that have been done in some areas, but for the most part, we haven't done anything since the 1930s. So what does that mean? It means even if you're eating fresh, organic food, it's nutrient poor. A tomato today is not the same tomato as it was 200 years ago. It doesn't have the same level of vitamins and minerals, which means eat a good diet, eat an organic, fresh food diet without a doubt, but to get the right levels of vitamins and minerals to optimize health, you really do need to take supplements. That's just one example.
And who would you say this book is for? Anyone in particular? Someone like your sister, I'm assuming, that's hesitant but wants to be more informed about the supplement industry?
Right, yeah, no, well, there's a couple of people I have in mind when I write this. So there's the person who's on the fence about taking supplements. Unfortunately, if you watch any of the mainstream media, morning shows, anytime there's a negative headline about supplements, man, they plaster it all over the place. So I'm talking to that person who realizes, I think supplements are good. I'm a little confused because mainstream media is telling me maybe they're dangerous or they don't work or whatever it is, but they see in their own lives that potential that a supplement can do, but they're still on the fence. So I wrote the book for them. I have a whole chapter, as I said, chapter 1, that's going to help them to decide whether or not they need to take supplements, and it's all based on science facts. So there's that one person. Then you got the other person who, just like you said, like my sisters, who are already understand, they get it. They understand they need supplements. They get the fact that these vitamins and minerals are essential to life, and they understand that. But the question becomes, well, where do I go? How do I begin? So that's really the other person that I'm writing to. There's maybe one other person in that. And what about that supplement user who's very experienced with supplements, who is knowledgeable about what's going on, but maybe they just kind of want to review where they're at. They can take all the supplements that they've been taking. They can take my quizzes, build that inventory, and then they can test it against what they've been taking. So they can get an idea of whether they really have been doing a good job based on what they've learned. So I guess this has really opened up to a lot of different people on the fence, people who just want to get started, but even that experienced supplement user as well.
In talking about taking supplements, let's go back to your sister. You said was a little overwhelmed by how many supplements were out there and wanted to take them, but didn't really know what she was taking. A lot of people are hesitant about how many bottles they have on a shelf. They don't want to have too many. You walk into a supplement shop and it can be rather overwhelming. Is there one supplement or a few supplements in particular that you think everybody should have on their shelves?
Good question. Yeah, good question. So again, the name of the book is The Supplement Pyramid. So I create regimens for people in the shape of a pyramid, and I break it up into 3 levels. The very base of the pyramid, which is the most important, right? If you don't have a good foundation to anything in life, Scott, things break down, right? So it all begins with a foundation of supplements. That's the base of your supplement pyramid, and there's 4 products that I think everybody should be doing. This is not the personalization part. These are supplements that keep us healthy humans. They keep us being healthy as humans. We're talking about an ideally dosed multivitamin. Now, notice I said ideally dosed multivitamin. There's a lot of multivitamins out there that are still based upon the dosing in them, are still based upon the recommended daily intake or the recommended daily allowance. That's an archaic system developed in the 1940s to prevent vitamin deficiencies. To give you an example, the RDI of vitamin C is about 50 milligrams a day. That's enough. If you get 50 milligrams of vitamin C every day, that's enough to prevent scurvy. Well, that's not what I'm talking about today. I'm talking about taking your regimen to another level. So I'm looking for a more ideally dosed vitamins that's around 500 milligrams a day. That's going to give you all of the other benefits attributed to vitamin C, like anti-cancer, immune strength, heart health. So we're looking for ideal doses based on the research. So that's the very first product everybody should be doing, the base of your pyramid, a multivitamin. From there, the next product that moves up is going to be the omega-3 oils. I'm sure you've heard of the fish oils, the flaxseed oil. These are the polyunsaturated fats. These are so important to us. They ease inflammation. They're good for your heart, your brain, you know, two very important organs in the body. Right. Everybody should be eating about 2 grams a day of some omega-3 oils. That's the second product in the foundation. The third product is ubiquinol CoQ10. Now that's one not everybody has heard of, but it's so critical. CoQ10 is a compound that is required inside each and every cell to make cell energy. And it's a simple concept. As you get older, you lose CoQ10, which means your cells can't make energy as well. If the cell can't make energy, it can't function. So the cell breaks down, the tissue breaks down, and Scott, you break down. So it's not a good thing. So we need to replenish CoQ10. So that's a third product in that foundation. And then the last product, the fourth product in the foundation of your pyramid, is going to be a probiotic. Those are the healthy gut bacteria. You know, I do a lot of lecturing, Scott, and I always teach people, you're only as healthy as your gut. If you can't digest food, if you can't absorb nutrients, whether it's from food or supplements, and you can't eliminate waste, you're not going to be very healthy. And a high-quality probiotic supports all phases of digestion. So those are 4 foundational products that I think everybody should be on. Now, as you move up the pyramid, then we can start personalizing by taking that inventory. But those are the 4. Scott, I hope you're taking those 4. I think we all should be taking those 4. And if we could get more people to do those, man, we would do so much for the health of this country.
And Dr. Smith, is there anything you'd like to add in closing?
You know, I think people are realizing the need for supplementation, but the key thing is to personalize it and to prioritize it, and that's what my program will do for you. One thing I want to mention about building that medical inventory, when you buy the book and you go through the quizzes, Scott, these quizzes are real clinical assessments. I am a medical doctor. I practiced, you know, the conventional medicine for many years, and I took that knowledge and I applied it to taking supplements. So the questions that you are going to answer are real questions that your own doctor would ask you in an office visit. You know, a cardiologist might ask you about certain risk factors, certain cholesterol levels, inflammatory markers. I ask those same questions. This isn't fluff questions. These are real hard, rigorous questions, but they're easy to answer. It's just yes or no. And based on your answers, I develop a score which reflects that risk, and then that risk will come along with some supplement suggestions based on the research. So it's an inventory, it's a picture, it's a story that you're going to develop about yourself that's based on real questions a doctor would want to know, and I apply that to supplements. So I really think that personalization approach is so key to taking supplements. It's going to make you feel better about the money you're spending, and you're going to be taking supplements that really do apply to you, that make sense for you. So I think this book could really help a lot of people.
Well, that's great. The book is The Supplement Pyramid. Dr. Michael A. Smith, thank you very much for joining us today. It's in stores now, or you can also get it at basichealthpub.com. For Basic Health Interactive, I'm Scott Shillstone, and thanks for joining us.